Our next story is not for the faint of heart. If the kiddie roller coaster gives you sweaty palms, watch out. You're about to go to a place where few have gone before, but some brave souls go every day. They're called extreme skiers, and for them, there really is no mountain high enough. So why do they do it? And how do they live to tell? Here's Elizabeth Vargas.
All of the blood is running through your veins.
It's nervousness, it's excitement.
Your muscles are twitching.
That feeling of butterflies and adrenaline.
It's a high like you wouldn't imagine.
There's nothing else that gives you that feeling.
It's extreme skiing, the sport at its ultimate, most exhilarating and most terrifying. There are no fancy lifts. Skiers often climb to their runs. And those runs, off cliffs, between rocks, around trees, down chutes, through ungroomed paths torn by nature out of the side of a mountain, catching what they call big air. It's a kind of combination downhill race and demolition derby. This is what happened to one competitor in the 1993 U.S. Extreme Championships. Remarkably, he survived.
2, 1, go.
Earlier this month, they held the 1995 U.S. Extremes in a narrow chute with a 1,400-foot vertical drop. Around Crested Butte, Colorado, locals call it the body bag.
Let's have a big hand for bid number 43, Allison Gannett.
They are among the best skiers in the world and more. They push the danger point well past the point where most World Cup racers dare.
When you're skiing above rocks or a cliff or in a situation where you can't afford to make a mistake, that's extreme.
Extreme skiing is a relatively new sport in the U.S. It was the brainchild of a few French mountaineers in the 1970s. They decided the best alpine skiing wasn't enough. Two of the original group have since died on the very mountains they were forever challenging. Now, extreme skiing has caught on in the United States as a hot new challenge for the hottest skiers.
You need that adrenaline rush, and if you don't have it, then you're not satisfied.
Next year, bid 34, Kim Reichhelm.
Kim Reichhelm won the World Extreme Skiing Championship 4 years ago.
Your heart pounds really hard, sort of like when you meet somebody and you first fall in love. It's just like that.
So you're basically falling in love every day on a ski slope?
Yeah, I'm having really good sex, too.
The love affair started when Kim Reichhelm was very young. Even then, skiing like everyone else was boring.
I've always had an incredible desire to excel. I knew when I was very young that I wanted to be good.
A self-described tomboy, she was always in competition against her two brothers. At age 16, she was selected for the U.S. ski team.
Day Swan was on course, Crested Butte, Colorado.
I'm not out there to kill myself, but I'm out there to push the limits and really just ride on the edge.
Dave Swanwick, known as Swanee to his friends, won the World Extremes last year.
Normally in extreme skiing, how steep are the slopes you guys are doing?
We're skiing anything from 40 degrees to 65 degrees. And this is a nice chute here. It's not that it's so steep, it's that it's technical.
Well, I think it looks pretty steep. How steep is this?
What would you say that is, Kim?
45.
Ski racing wasn't enough of a challenge for Kim or Swanee. The toughest courses were just too easy.
When I was living in France, I got to the point where I could not find anything steep anymore. And I was starting to get...
Come on, in the Alps?
Yeah, I was looking down stuff and I'd stand at the top and go, God, you know, that's really not that steep.
In fact, extreme ski slopes are often twice as steep as the toughest resort slopes.
It's a biological calling that I have inside me that needs me to challenge myself and push myself just a little bit beyond each day.
It's a fear rush and I'm getting adrenaline from that fear.
Can you understand how some people might think you're crazy? I mean, come on, you're skiing off cliffs and off rocks and you're suspended in the air. You're going down slopes that you have to hike up or rappel down a rock to get to. I mean...
I guess for some people that would be crazy. To me, driving a cab in New York City is twice as crazy.
People watch you guys doing this and they shake their heads and go, these people are nuts.
Some of us are. I mean, I don't think I am. But I've seen a lot of skiers take chances that I would never take. And some of them will get hurt. And people will continue to die, unfortunately. It's a dangerous sport.
They need a rush. The kind of rush that's not provided, you know, just in ordinary everyday living.
Psychologist Keith Johnsgaard has been studying what he calls high sensation seekers for 30 years. He started with race car drivers. Now he's trying to get inside the heads of the world's most daring skiers. He says they aren't crazy, but they're not like us.
So you're saying that they are biologically different?
Oh, definitely. These people have very low levels, for example, of serotonin, a neurochemical everybody's talking about. So they tend to be much more impulsive than most of us.
How do they look at the mountain differently from how maybe you and I might look at the mountain?
What people like you and I would feel when we look down a slope like that is anxiety. And
A lot of it, personally
a
speaking.
whole lot, yeah, it would terrify me. They feel excitement.
It's that amazing feeling of, oh my God, you know, something could almost go incredibly wrong here, and then all of a sudden everything's fine, and you have this elated feeling. I mean, it's that feeling of making that split-second decision that saved your life.
It's that brush with danger that you like.
I think so, yeah.
But living for the rush means living to do it again. And these daredevils believe in being prepared.
Sprayed me!
That was great!
These are some of the basic essentials that I carry in my pack.
Standard gear for extreme skiing is more than just skis and poles.
I have my shovel here to dig somebody out if they were buried in an avalanche. These are some snowshoes.
In fact, what may look effortless takes a lot of planning.
If you drop this way,
They research the terrain, study the cliffs and the conditions, and then carefully choose their run.
nature is scary. Nature should be respected. You have to work with nature and be very, very aware that nature can be really mean.
They got no kind of death wish. The last thing these people want to do is stop living and having these kinds of rushes.
They don't do it for the big paycheck. They dream of ski film contracts or endorsements and take whatever jobs they can find. They aren't ski bums, but...
I've done lots of different things. You know, I've waited tables, I've bartended, I've done carpentry work. Good morning, this is Swanee with your ski and weather report.
Swanee's up at 5 a.m. on Crested Butte TV, and he works as a ski patroller. Anything to buy time until the next run, until the next race.
We have had 20 inches in the last 24 hours.
Reichhelm owns her own business, running extreme skiing clinics.
Right now, the ski patrol is up.
More and more, the skiers with the talent and the courage want to savor the danger.
It's a competition and lots of mental discipline to force yourself down a hill that scares the hell out of you.
Steve Wynn, who owns a computer company, invited 5 of his employees to the clinic. He believes conquering the mountain will make them better workers.
All right, Pam, don't be necessarily going across the fall line. Be going down the hill.
You make it look so easy. And to somebody who might be inclined to ski off a cliff or down a chute, and might not be as skilled as you, is it dangerous that people would watch that and want to try it?
People see us just do things on film, jump off cliffs or do wild maneuvers, and they don't see how much time and energy we put into it prior. The research and the training and the thought that goes into a big maneuver.
What does your family think about your extreme skiing?
They're not that crazy about it. It makes them really nervous. And
Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
These are the moments they live for. The 4th annual U.S. Extreme Skiing Championships. 103 men and 22 women, thrill seekers from around the world. They have come to challenge some of the toughest terrain in North America. They're not competing for Cadillacs or $100,000 checks. It's a chance to win a title and to experience the ultimate thrill.
Our next skier is Kim Reichhelm, bib number 34.
4 days of grueling runs over 82 inches of powder in one of Crested Butte, Colorado's biggest snowstorms, but nothing will stop them. At age 34, Kim Reichhelm has never won the U.S. championships. Today, she's fighting for first place against top skiers like Noelle Lyons and Allison Gannett.
Well, you know what I kept thinking is, maybe Allison will ski in it, stake a tip, and lose the ski. Maybe Kitty.
Our next competitor, Dave Swanwick, bib number 96.
By day 3, Swanee is struggling to hold on to first place, but he runs into trouble.
Yeah, sometimes you do fall down cliffs. We've fallen so many times. Even falling's part of skiing.
They have a need to achieve, a need to be the best. That's just almost unparalleled in any group of people. These are our top guns. These are the people who fly off aircraft carriers. These are the doctors and nurses in operating rooms who love it and can handle it. These are the people on the floor of the stock exchange who need and can deal with this kind of incredible stimulation. Life is dull without it.
I'd like to think that in another age, I'd be somebody jumping on a ship and saying, God, there's got to be another side to this planet.
And I've skied some really, really awful, awful conditions where, you know, you're just hating it, but you're still loving it. You know what I mean? I'd rather be there than any place else in the world.
When they added up the final scores, there were 3 injuries, 1 concussion, a blown-out knee, and 1 broken nose. Dave Swanwick fell short of his goal, finishing 3rd in the men's finals. He won a T-shirt, some goggles, and $250. For 4 years, Reichhelm wanted to be the American champion. Now, for the first time, she's finally done it, finishing #1 for women in the U.S. Extreme Skiing Championships. She got $1,000. They'll both be back next year.
Kim and Dave's next adventure comes on March 31st at the World Extreme Ski Championships near Valdez, Alaska. They'll be competing against 40 of the world's best extreme skiers on terrain so rugged they often have to go in by helicopter.